analyzing Girl Powdering Her Neck, written by Kathy Song.
And we will also be analyzing this painting that is not up there. There it is, by Kitagawa Utamaro.
So what is the theme? There are many themes that can be interpreted from this poem, but one that sticks out the most is that women are silenced. This theme is pushed forward within this piece of literature through word choice, voice, tone, imagery, and figures of speech. Word choice and word order. In lines 19 to 23, the woman pleases herself, and Song writes about how some other hand will trace those same parts, which helps to interpret that people use her body. Following that stanza, lines 23 through 33 are very descriptive of the woman's body, using words like revealing and comparing her shoulder to a snowy hill because of her light complexion. Then, in the last stanzas, we understand how she is silenced. Song writes about how when the woman opens her mouth, she disrupts the piece of her face. This is almost saying that women are beautiful until they open their mouths, objectifying women for their beauty. She used the phrase, break the symmetry of silence, to emphasize that thought. The line, but the berry-stained lips stenciled into the mask of beauty do not speak, stood out to me the most and helped define the theme of both the poem and the piece of art.
So the voice of the poem refers to the speaker who describes events, feelings, and ideas to the reader. The voice of the speaker allows the reader to better interpret the poem, and it creates a sort of persona that the poet uses. In this poem, the author, who is Kathy Song, an American minority, uses the voice of the speaker to express details about her own culture, along with some of the historical pressures that go along with her culture. So for tone, it's defined as basically the attitude of the narrator or author. It can be subject matter, characters, or audience. And then we have some examples of tone here, like intimate, supportive, bitter, affectionate, etc. So there are two tones that I saw in the story, and that's intimate and serious. So the poem is intimate because the author talks about a very private and personal detail or action of the girl's life. And it's also serious because the author is referring to it as sort of a ritual, and some of the actions she's doing seem formal in a way.
So the author uses imagery, which is words or phrases that connect the five senses to the story. In static imagery versus kinetic energy, it's normally a moment is frozen to give the reader a painting or sculpture feel, which is static imagery. And in kinetic imagery, it tries to show motion or change. Some examples of imagery in Girl Powdering Her Neck is peach dyed kimono and rice paper doors, which would be static imagery. Figures of speech, so a way to achieve an effect past that of ordinary language. Ways to use figurative language would be a hyperbole, simile, personification, or a metaphor. Examples in Girl Powdering Her Neck, once again, would be symmetry of silence and application of translucent skins. So those would be two examples for that.
Okay, so question 1 focuses on the art. Kathy Song took Kitagawa Utamaro's art piece and focused on the reflection in the mirror and detailed in on her body, specifically describing the nape of her neck, the color of her lips, and the paleness of her skin. Kathy ignored the writings on the wall, which could have brought more significance to the cultural aspect of the poem. And question 2, the purpose of the poetry. Kathy Song expressed the emotion of women who are silenced and are forced by society to paint a picture of themselves that is not true. She emphasized the reflection in the mirror to show the facade that Asian American women and women as a whole put on. Also, she described the nape of her neck and how women are sexualized and sexualize themselves to get approval.
So the author provides insight into the work of art through his poem. She uses this poem to accurately convey the details of all the activities she performed during her morning ritual. We also see how she is being delicate and taking the process of applying the powder very seriously. One thing that I noticed in the painting that the author does not identify is the hair stick that is holding her hair in place. which I think possibly contributes to the serious and formal tone of the poem. So a few questions can arise when looking at this poem and the work of art, and some of them are as follows. For what purpose does the girl do all the actions that she does? How does the girl feel about doing these things? And what is the purpose of the metaphor at the end of the poem? So for the second question about the feeling, it's kind of difficult to understand based on the poem because there's not a whole lot of emotion, but then the painting shows her face, so you can kind of see her expression, or you can determine what she's feeling based off of that. And then also for the last question about the metaphor, the reader may not know what the chrysanthemums are referring to, but when looking back at the poem and the painting, it can be inferred that they're directly related to the berry-stained lips of the girl.
So, interpretation of the art, question 5. The author describes a painting with lots of color and small movements. However, make sure to freeze different parts of the description to illuminate the details. The author captures her beauty in a unique and magical way, but keeps the girl silent, which is an attempt at society to show how women are beautiful, but are often silenced by the social cues that they are given. And this helps to determine that women are not free by social standards, but rather they are only free by what they have decided that they are.
And this is our bibliography.
Thank you for watching.